this is the video feed of the Poco F1 at 1080p 30 frames per second. Now I'm currently in zoom at 3.3x. Currently now I'm in 5x zoom, 5.3x zoom. So this video mode offers EAS. So let us see how the shake's been handled. Uh, let us see how the focusing is also being handled. So there is some jitteriness that I feel due to the EAS. I have reached the maximum zoom. It's 8x. So let's see now. So yeah, this is the video feed. So the video is being now recorded in the Fujifilm. I think the video is in 1080p 60 frames per second. So as you see, if you see the zoom range, it's actually in 12.5x. The max zoom range supported by the Poco F1 is only 8x. So this is a zoom lens, so that's the advantage of using this camera. But if you see the depth of field, what we call as the bokeh, is pretty good in the Fujifilm lens, because this is doing an optical zoom, whereas the Poco F1 is doing the digital zoom kind of thing. I see the lens sound being coming in the mic audio also. Let's see how the recording clarity is. Now let's zoom in more. Now left shifts to this one. So the actual range is actually this one. If you see in 1x, this is the actual range. Now I'm trying to zoom in to that temple dome. I'm at exactly 28x. Now let us try to zoom out, sorry. It's taking some time to focus. I think it's having some focusing issues now. And the focus is done. Once the focus is done, it's pretty much very good in terms of the portrait effect, I mean the depth of field. The situation is like semi-cloudy. So now it's the sun is directly not directly lit on that bird. Now it's kind of cloudy because after the rain is over. So let's see how the focusing works. So let us try to focus those flowers. I'm zooming in further till 2030. Actually I have zoomed into 30. The main negative of this video, negative of this Fujifilm, I think, is the audio. The problem is that any high pitch sounds results in a rattled audio recording. Though it supports stereo recording, the audio quality, I think, it's below average, because on any noisy environments you will surely hear rattling. I'm shooting this video actually in hand, so this camera features a sensor based stabilization. This doesn't have a lens based, so it's similar to what we have in iPhone 12 Pro Max. So the camera sensor itself moves based on the shakes instead of the lens. So let us see now how the Poco F1 serves this camera. So this is the 1080p 30 frames per second video. with EIS enabled. So let's see how the focus thing works. So let's do some quick panning. So yeah, so this is with 1080p 30 frames per second with EIS turned off, because I noticed with the EIS turned on there is some stutter in the video recording, and also some issue with the exposure, like dynamic exposure change. So now I just thought, okay, how's the performance the 1080p 30 frames per second, the EIS turned off, because like this is like decently lit indoor conditions in daylight, but in during night time and in indoor, the 30 frames per second will give you much better performance than the 60 frames per second, because the sensor will be able to observe twice the light when compared to a 60 frames per second video. So yeah, that's it. So this is the 720p 30 frames per second video. There is in the Fujifilm there is no 30 frames per second video option for 1080p in this Fujifilm camera. So let's see how this one works. So there is some lens flare kind of thing happening. So let's see how's the noise levels and the sensitivity to the light is there. I assume, since this is a 30 frames per second video, in night time, at least in indoors where the light is like restricted or the artificial light is present, the 30 frames per second video should be helping. And 720p video is just fine to view in phone or any other less than like 32-inch TVs, because the TV itself is a 720p resolution. So if you are viewing the content in more than like a 43 inches where the resolution is at 1080p, there you might get some issues, but 720p is plenty fine. Yeah, let's see. So this is the 720p 30 frames per second in the Poco F1, because I took a sample of the 720p video in the Fujifilm also, but the when I saw the output in the laptop, the video was so bad and so noisy. So at least we'll hope how's the 720p quality in the Poco F1 with EIS turned off. The video capability of a phone or a camera is based on the image cycling processor, and I think the Qualcomm's 845 ISP is so much better than the Fujifilm ones. And let me know if there are any stutters while there is a pan. I see there's a stutter, at least in the frame. We'll see an input, like an output video with the 30 frames per second in 720p with EIS turned on also. So this is the 1080p 60 frames per second video. So earlier we shot the Fujifilm's 60 frames per second video in 1080p. This is the Poco F1's 1080p video in 60 frames per second. So based on the previous results, what we come to know is basically that in indoor lighting and low light, I think the image processing of the Poco F1, the stock camera, is way better. Let's see how it focus. If you see, there is literally no noise, noticeable noise that we see in the Fujifilm. I would say the major advantage of the Fujifilm is the lens itself. So you get that depth of field. Hi, this is a video recording indoors with the Fujifilm X6800. It's recording in the 1080p 60 frames per second. Let's see how the focusing thing works, focusing, the light gathering, those kind of stuffs. So actually, the windows here actually. So the light is coming this way. So let's see how the focusing works. It's taking some time to focus. Yeah. Now we are recording this video in Poco F1 1080p 60 frames per second. So I am at 1x zoom. So that's the temple dome we are trying to look at. So now let us try to zoom in to that bird. I am in currently 2.9x zoom. So now it's 5.9x. If you see, the advantage of the Fujifilm lens is the depth of field. So since this is doing a digital zoom, we don't get those kind of stuffs. And also the EIS is not available in the 1080p 60 frames per second. I'll also post a video with the 30 frames per second, and we will try to look how the stabilization and the quality of video is. See, that is the temple dome. Currently I am in 7.4x zoom. I'm trying to focus the temple dome, but it's not happening. Okay, let us see with the 1080p 30 frames per second.